We only take such actions as a last resort to save lives when there's no other alternative.
So first, let me get a few things out of the way on drones. In general, I think drones can be a useful and effective tool of war. If there's a bad guy, a senior leader of al-Qaeda, let's say, who we can take out with a drone strike, I say we do it. I am, however, bothered by the secrecy, lack of transparency, and lack of oversight of the drone program. The process by which we determine targets should be detailed and codified. The people who are killed, civilian and militant, should be public information or at least known by Congress so that we can study the overall impact of our drone policy on radicalizing civilian populations. And there should be some sort of judicial branch oversight, such as special courts or the threat of lawsuits after the fact, perhaps. So to sum it up, I'm okay with drones in general, but not satisfied with the current way the program is being handled. There is something about this drone debate, though, that is driving me nuts. And that is the charge, mostly by Republicans, that if you feel any different about the drone program under President Obama than you would have under George W. Bush, you are an utter, hopeless hypocrite. Let me ask you a question. How would you feel about a Madeleine Albright panel on women and body image? Okay. Now, how do you feel about the Larry Flynt panel on women and body image? How do you feel about your kid in Dr. Ruth's sex ed class versus Todd Akins? Do you feel different about Warren Buffett penning standards for financial ethics versus Bernie Madoff? Of course you do, because you're normal. But according to the Republican logic used during this drone debate, if you feel any different about the Madeleine Albright and Larry Flynt panels, you are a hypocrite. Look, I voted for President Obama because I trust his values and his judgment, and I believe that he's a fundamentally responsible actor. Without gratuitously slamming next President Bush, I think he displayed extraordinary lapses in judgment in executing his primary responsibility as commander-in-chief and put troops in harm's way imprudently. President Obama would have exercised better judgment, and he has exercised better judgment. The way it stands now, the drone program is exclusively within the domain of the executive, their protocol, their judgment. So yeah, I feel a whole lot better about the program when the decider, so to speak, is President Obama. It's not to say that, again, the process shouldn't be codified, that there shouldn't be oversight. But really, is our standard so low that we would only grant powers to the executive that we would trust in the hands of a man who misled the nation to get us into a war we never should have been involved in? What would George W. Bush do? That's our standard? We would never allow a power to the presidency that we wouldn't feel comfortable giving to George W. Bush? I think we can raise the bar a bit from that. And just for a little perspective, let's keep in mind that the president does have the unilateral power to drop nuclear bombs and destroy the entire planet. Do you feel the same about George W. Bush having the nuclear codes as you do about President Obama? Call me a hypocrite, but I sure don't. All right, that does it for the cycle. Martin Bashir, it is all yours.
Thank you, Crystal, and good afternoon. It's